Good morning, and been a great conference so far. We've touched on a few of the topics, and I'm going to share with you today with some of the speakers. The three things that I'm going to discuss are really around getting back to some basics around advertising, just doing business, that I think we can all work together on to drive more revenue to our medium. And just quickly, just to highlight about our company, Adslot's an Australian company based in Melbourne, publicly traded over there. We focus on two things. One is to provide more accessibility for media trading on the guaranteed side of the industry, and the other is efficiencies for publishers to drive better efficiency in the workflow and all the numbers of steps that are involved in driving deals. So with that, we'll jump right in. So here's kind of the media consumption versus media spend for our industry, right? So we've got 30% of the media consumption, the eyeballs, a lot of time being spent in our space, as you know, but 20% of the media spend. Now, I don't know if we can have an equivalent revenue to media spend occur for our particular medium, but I think it should be greater than 20%. So there is a gap here. There's about a $20 billion gap, and this is the focus of my presentation, is what are some of the things that we can do, buyers, sellers, and tech companies, to help drive more dollars into our space. So the first thing is our supply issue, right? So great quote from Henry Ford: "A market's never saturated with a good product, but it quickly saturated with a bad product." So we've got a tremendous amount of supply. This is a very simple economics 101 issue that we have in our market, in our industry. And there's a couple of things that you can do to solve for that. One of the things that David Payne did over at Gannett when he joined his CRO very quickly was he took all his above-the-fold inventory and removed it from any exchanges, ad networks, and SSPs. So right away, give or take, within 6 to 8 months, they saw an effective CPM increase at Gannett, and it was a successful method that they used. Fox News also took their frequency cap, the frequencies that you could buy across the exchanges and SSPs, down to 4 or 5. So you couldn't access the user past a certain frequency. So what it did is it increased the bid prices, right? So everyone started bidding higher on 1 through 5, and they saw an increase in revenue. So there's many different things you can do. We don't really kind of share these things often enough, I think, as an industry, but there's a lot that can happen if we can just kind of cut the supply or accessibility to drive the overall effectiveness and the CPMs for the space. Creative and emotion. So great quote from Don Draper and Mad Men. And advertising is based on one thing: happiness. And so, happiness is one part of advertising, but the real basis behind advertising is emotion, right? And we talked about a lot of tech today, and really didn't get into creative and what is driving the emotion for users. And when you talk about creative and great ad campaigns, they're primarily on television, of course. But there's opportunity for us to do things in our space, and two of the things that the IAB is working on is the SafeFrame code. I don't know how familiar you are with this, but basically the SafeFrame code allows for viewability. It also allows, if you install this as a publisher, for rich media campaigns to come through the RTB pipes. So these are increased CPMs. These are kind of ways that buyers are looking to purchase more inventory. They want the viewability stats. And also, SafeFrame allows a lot of protection over your data. So there's some good privacy effects from adding the safe code to your page. The other thing is the Rising Star. The Rising Star ad units that the IAB is pushing into market right now. They've gotten good adoption with some of the ComScore 25 publishers. I think 17 or 18 of those publishers are using the product. When you talk to agencies and you talk to some publishers as well, both chicken and egg side are saying, well, I can't put these on all my media plans because there's not enough inventory out there. I can't buy it at scale. And publishers are saying, well, I put in an RFP, but no one responds because they're not buying it. So we just got to just do it. Just get these IAB ad units out there. Buyers and sellers will transact on it. They are higher CPMs. The test that was done with Yahoo, MSN, AOL, and some major brand advertisers like AT&T showed about a 250% interaction increase from a standard banner ad. So creative is a big key for us to increase our rates and drive more spend into our industry. And then Joe touched on this. This is Joe's slide, actually. Nextmark created this. The process is very complicated. This is the buy-side version of this. We've put together about 40 steps that the publisher goes through to process a guaranteed order. So in both cases, buy and sell side, it's a very complicated process. We have some tools to kind of drive that and make that more efficient for publishers and make this process just much, much smoother. So an example of that is car sales. Car sales is like the Auto Trader of Australia, about a $2 billion market cap company, publicly traded. They had 47 steps in their process, very manual, duplicative work, moving things from an IO to Excel and looking for mapping of different ad units, and just complicated stuff that was just really unnecessary. So we reduced that to 7 steps for them. A lot of automation involved in that. We integrated with some of their systems, of course the ad server, but also some of their finance systems to make this process much smoother. And it was a huge win for them, right? So with 28% COGS in our space and television being at 2%, I don't think we'll ever get to 2% because we have a complicated industry, a complicated audience, and there's a lot of data involved. And, but 28% is just too high. And we're not spending enough time, like Walker was talking about, we're not spending enough time talking about the 88% of revenue, which is on the guaranteed side of the industry, and what we can do to fix these kind of fundamental systematic issues that we see. And so now's the time to act. We see our industry growing continuously, and the numbers always look good. It's always up and to the right, but we can make this better. We can increase this and drive more spend to our medium. And in the UK, it was probably 2009, maybe 2008, that television spend was, online spend was surpassing television spend. And that'd be great to see here, but I think we can grow faster than this. I don't know how soon we could surpass TV or if we ever will, but we can definitely drive more dollars faster in our space. And I think these are a few ways that we can do that. Our products help with that process primarily for the publisher side. So I'd love to chat with you about it. Find me later. Let's grab a drink and have a talk. And open for questions.
We have one question. How do you cut the supply to increase efficiency? Won't there always be bad, quote-unquote, hair club for men ads?
Well, there will be. I think part of it is on the supply side, individual publishers can do things to increase their effective CPMs. There's also, just standard kind of supply and demand in Q4. Every fourth quarter, there's, a tremendous amount of budget that comes into our industry. And, the idea at that time of the year is, can we do something on the supply side to drive the CPMs up and to make sure that the best inventory, because not all inventory is equal, can go on our higher CPMs. Thank you.
So switching gears again, obviously we've heard that programmatic buying raises a lot of debate. Is it about efficiency or